The food, the culture, the celebration, all things about New Orleans. But this weekend, it's been all about the beach volleyball. It's day 3, and we call it Championship Sunday on the AVP Tour. It's the second leg of the 2022 AVP season, and we have quite a men's semifinal lineup for you. Phil Dalhauser, Casey Patterson going up against Paul Lotman and Miles Partain. I'm Dane Bland alongside Rich Lamborn, and we will be bringing you all of the action, and we are ready to get things rolling down on center court. And for the introductions, let's head over to Mark Sherman.
The men's semifinals are here, ladies and gentlemen. New Orleans, how are we feeling today? It is nice out here today. Yes, I love it. What are we drinking in the stands? I saw a couple margaritas. My dad just chatting it up, literally meeting everybody in the stands. Thank you for my beads. They're beautiful. I love them. Hello. Welcome inside New Orleans, everybody. What an amazing weekend it has been. And part of the reason is because of these two guys. This first young man, he does things that it's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, we haven't seen that. And then you learn how old he is or how young he is and how does he have the vision, the skills, the trickery that he does. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Miles Partain. And his partner of, oh yeah, who wants the mini ball, by the way, from Miles Partain? And his partner out of Lakewood, California. He is real fun to watch the net. He has got an absolute whip of an arm, one of the heaviest hitters on the indoor side, and bringing that to the beach, it's Mr. Paul Lotman. And their opponents. He's actually a really fun guy to talk to off the court. He's a really fun guy to talk to while he's on the court. We always turn the music down just a little bit to hear the conversations he's having with all of you. Just be careful, because he will shut you down immediately if you say the wrong thing. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Mr. Suave Hawk. He has been so much fun to watch for the last 2 decades. He is Mr. Casey Patterson. And his partner, the big guy, standing at 6 feet 9-ish inches tall. The gold medalist from 2008, the Beast, joining us all the way from Orlando. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Phil Dalhausser.
Well, there you have it. Number 1 versus number 7. Dane Bland alongside Rich Lamborn. And Rich, I got to ask you right away, how dangerous are Phil and Casey? They look engaged. They look like they are having a blast. We saw them play last night. What does that mean for the competition?
Yeah, it means trouble for the competition. 2 of the greats all time in our sport, of course, and kind of rejuvenated both of them over the age of 40, but out here having fun and playing some great volleyball as we saw last night.
Here's a good look at the youngster, Miles Partain, back to serve on the right side of your screen. He's a southpaw lefty. He plays the right side of the court, and he's known to go over on that second contact very often. Here's Casey Patterson. And how about this for a rally to start things off? It is Lotman down the line for the score.
And look to see a lot of long rallies here. Miles Partain, young, but a great defender, long on experience. And we know what Phil and Casey can do.
Miles Partain out of Pacific Palisades in California. Home of St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos, a rich volleyball tradition, and he's been playing on the beaches for some time and has exceptional volleyball IQ.
Yeah, kind of a hotbed of volleyball talent. You got Ken Steffes in there too from the Pacific Palisades area, I believe.
You're absolutely right, Rich. The list goes on, and then Partain with a dig, an opportunity to go up 3-0, and the smooth shot to the corner, making it look easy. Right now, the 20-year-old youngster Miles Partain dictating the pace.
And just great patience, great control from the kid from the town that's responsible for well over 300 AVP victories.
And Casey Patterson gets the touch fortunately because that ball sailed out of bounds, but it, I believe, ticked Lotman's finger on the way out.
I had somebody DM me yesterday, Dane, calling that hairstyle a suavelet, suave hawk combined with a mullet.
I like that. That's a suavelet, huh? We got to run that by Casey.
I thought that was kind of the front runner.
It's been a long weekend. 7 of the last 9 AVP matches have gone 3 sets. 3 of the 4 here in New Orleans. And when you're playing that next or that final 3rd set, it can take a little more out of you, especially this weekend. It has been hot, 85, 90 degrees. Feels like 95 and the humidity's up there. So it's been a long weekend, but they still look energized.
Yeah, fitness not going to be an issue for them, but one of the things that stat would indicate, I would think, is that they play a great brand of volleyball, but maybe there's some consistency issues that they can shore up a little bit. What do you think, Dane?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at this last play real quick, though, Rich, here's Phil. He hits the ball. The ball is dead when it lands, and then he actually hits the bottom of the net. I know the rules have changed back and forth, but it seems like a dead ball. Here it is. The ball gets hits the ground before Phil touches the net. What's the call there, Rich?
Yeah, I think that's a point for Patterson and Dalhauser. Just kind of separate. Once the ball is down, that play is over. You can drag your entire body across the net if you want to.
So, yeah, Rich, excuse me for, I didn't hear that last question. I know you posed me a question. Can you repeat it?
I was asking you what you think the stat about Lotman and Partain playing so many 3-setters indicates. You know, they play great volleyball. They're both very skilled, very talented, but maybe consistency, something that they can improve upon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they can improve on that consistency, and that comes with time. Lotman, traditionally an indoor player, and every day he gets out there, he seems to get better. And then you got Partain, a youngster, and every day he plays on this pro circuit, he gets better. They know how to battle, they fluctuate back and forth. And when you're going a lot of 3-setters, I think it's because, you're in the trenches, you're hunting. You don't expect this team to just beat teams 2-0. I think everything's going to be a battle, and they've showed that they are battle tested, but I do not think, as you said, Rich, fitness is going to be a factor.
Yeah, and sort of the, not necessarily the flip side, but the other part of that conversation is that they've come out on the right side of those 3-setters, and so it shows their grit and it shows their class.
Wow, Phil up big, and this will be a big story at the net. Can they get around Big Phil Dalhauser? Because he is known to many as the best blocker in the world.
Yeah, speaking of class, we saw it there from Big Phil.
Remember, this is the first time that Phil and Casey Patterson have played together, a new partnership with a ton of experience out there, both 42 years of age, and both playing some of their best volleyball. Looks like Phil is in absolutely phenomenal shape.
Yeah, both guys 42-ish, I believe, but keeping themselves in fine form.
Miles with the dig. Cases like that ball was on my side of the net.
Casey Patterson would like an overcall. He says that he was about to play that underhand, and Miles just reached over the net. Now, if any part of the ball's on top of the net, it's fair game.
And that's his call.
Yeah, that's such a difficult call because if left alone, that ball probably does go all the way over to Casey and Phil's side, but Miles picks it off before it gets there. Fair play.
8-5, Partain and Lotman leading here in the first set of the semifinals.
Turns it down the line.
And Patterson turning it down the line, 6-8. Take a look here at the Monster Hydro Monster Block. That's Big Phil, and I think that's the beginning of many that may come. Monster Hydro Monster Block here in the semifinal.
Yeah, just a great look at him jetting those hands into the line of Miles Partain there for the stuffy.
Phil making it look easy right there. Funnels the block right over to Casey Patterson, and then he goes over, set the perfect ball, making it look easy as they've gotten themselves back on track here in set one.
Yeah, Casey's so good in transition, especially with the setting from Phil. His standing reach is 8-9, so, you know, as soon as he drags himself up out of the sand, he's already 9 inches over the net. Great vision to go along with it.
Yeah, Casey Patterson's a bit of a rare breed at how tall he is and at 6'6", and the way that he plays defense in the backcourt. But we're seeing that more, Rich, now. Taller defenders, is that the kind of direction that the trend is going?
Well, I think you're just seeing a different type of athlete gravitate towards the game, right? And so, you know, athletes, human beings maybe in general, are getting taller, bigger, stronger, faster, all that kind of stuff. And so you are seeing some bigger defenders. I just watched the match this morning with Alexander Brouwer from the Netherlands, kind of similar height to Casey. He's a defender for many years on the international tour. Casey put in a lot of work, though, under the tutelage largely of Tyler Hildebrand to become an elite level defender. Not something that came naturally to him. He was, you know, mainly just a great side-out player and kind of relied on that in his game. But he worked extremely hard, and now he's a very, very good defender and an unbelievable offensive player in transition.
And Casey Patterson, always an entertainer, so fun to watch. Here's a look at Partain. Nice roll shot after he hit a ball out down the line. You know, Phil is so imposing at times it doesn't reflect in the stat, because you, as an offensive player, sometimes go around him, make a lot of errors, and he's not getting any credit for blocks there, but his presence alone can be intimidating.
Yeah, there should be a Phil Dalhauser stat called disruptions.
I like that. 10-all here, Patterson and Dalhauser looking to get the lead to going into the technical timeout.
Take our technical timeouts. 11-10, Partain and Lotman maintaining that as slight.
We asked Casey why he is so excited about playing with Big Phil.
Terramana Tequila match of the day here at the AVP. Terramana Small Batch Tequila.
The most exciting part is just playing with him in general. I used to be a full-time blocker when I first started. And the first tournament I won in 2009, I was full-time blocking, and so I played him one time and I was like, I'm not going to be able to go to a much higher level if I stay here. So I was like, I got to play defense, and maybe one day I'll get the chance to play with him. So I'm super excited. I was probably more nervous than the guys playing that we played today, because I was like, I'm finally getting to play with Phil. So it's been a fun time so far, getting that first match out of the way. And, you know, he's, in my opinion, the greatest player ever in the game. So, I mean, he proved it in Austin. Like, he doesn't even train, can show up and split block, play defense, transition. and he's just smooth as ever. So I'm just happy to be here and stoked to learn from him in this one, this event today.
Casey Patterson, a smile on his face that entire interview, Rich, and we talked about a little bit yesterday how nerve-wracking it can be with playing with what many call the greatest of all time.
Yeah, certainly. That's interesting to hear Casey be so candid about his own nerves playing with Big Phil. Maybe he did the prep work playing 4 years with Jay Gibb, who many consider Phil's lookalike, often confused in beach volleyball crowds as such.
Here's a good look at the most wins. Karch Karai at 148. Phil Dalhauser in triple digits as well at 101.
Chiseling off the edge of the block. French fries on the board. Patterson. He'll serve 1-1.
It's a good look at Casey Patterson. He talked about that first victory. It was back in 2009 with Ty Loomis, I believe, in Coney Island. And he was a full-time blocker. So just goes to show you the versatility and the progression of Casey Patterson's game over the last 13, 14 years.
Yeah, and again, it was interesting to hear him admit as much himself that he felt he didn't have much higher to go as a blocker, so he figured he needed to become that defender. Kudos to him for putting in the work to get there.
It's not easy. A lot of blockers want to be defenders. A lot of defenders want to be blockers, but it's rare to see someone put in the time, make the transition, and actually be successful at it.
It's a bit of the grass is greener syndrome, right? As a defender, you always think blocking can't be that tough of a deal, and vice versa.
Wow, Phil putting that one out of reach.
Big Phil, one of his most potent weapons is this jump serve. Right out of the middle of the court, tosses it with his left hand, and look at the angle. Even if you're ready for that one, it's going to be hard to pull it back. See if he can whip up another one.
Well, and you talked a lot yesterday about how he likes to go kind of from that middle area right up the middle. So you have to respect that. And when he peels it down the sideline, it's big trouble.
Yeah, it's funny. I had very little overlap with Phil, but a few years of playing. And when he was serving, there was times you just felt like you were playing defense. You were locked in, like as if you were hitting the ball at the net, because that ball would come over with such velocity and accuracy. And there's so many weapons, so many ways that he can score so quickly. And first is that serve, and second is his blocking ability.
That's something you're more accustomed to seeing indoor, where you're just playing defense on some of these big bomb jump serves, but Phil certainly brings that vibe to the sand with his heavy heat from the end line.
Yeah, it's funny, the progression, not only of the beach game, but the indoor game, and you are a spectacular indoor player, defender. How much has the serve changed since you played, Rich? Has it gotten faster? Has it gotten quicker? I mean, it looks pretty ridiculous from my view.
I thought it was ridiculous when I played, and it's on a whole other level now. And I mean, I was done playing about 10 years ago, but I think it's ratcheted up 3 or 4 notches already. I mean, you literally are playing defense out there. Of course, setters are so adept at running their offense from 10, 12 feet off the net, because that's really oftentimes as close as you can get some of those passes.
To take the lead, 15-14.
It looked like you wanted to go over, but that ball was about 7 feet off the net. It ends up in the top of the net. And Partain and Lotman with a 1-point lead.
A rare mistake from the big fella.
Ball, Lotman Lotman up and over the block. Timely block we saw in this last round, and he's starting to do it right here at the end of this first set. Lotman with the jump serve. He'll run all the way up to the net, trying to get another block here. And a little finesse shot by Patterson over the block. And he says, let's calm it down, take it slow.
I like that Casey is capable of carrying both sides of the conversation. Phil is kind of the silent assassin out there. He's not doing too much talking. Casey never stops talking. It's kind of an interesting dynamic to watch, right?
Casey has a lot of conversations and meetings with himself out there, and that's how he plays the game, as Partain gives one back to Phil and Casey, and we're all locked up at 16.
Yeah, big part of the game of Partain and Lotman is that on-two ball, and a very good part of their game, but just a little bit of a mistake there from Miles.
Nice option right there, the opposite direction than what we expected. And I think when Phil rips the ball, it's harder to option, but that jump float, it allows the receiver to kind of guide that ball up there to be hit on two.
Yeah, certainly when he's cracking his jumpster, it's hard to control. Like you said, you're almost just playing defense. But when the float serve comes, you can direct it a little bit more, and Partain and Lotman can both go on two very, very adeptly.
17-17, 1 point to the switch.
After the kill, you can see Casey Patterson talking to himself, what he needs to do. Whatever it takes, right, Rid? Gotta have conversations, meetings.
Yeah, you mentioned he's an unbelievable entertainer, and oftentimes he's entertaining himself with that conversation, but also that's a method he uses just to keep himself engaged and keep himself firing on all cylinders.
It is officially crunch time in set number one.
Partain and Lotman, 8-17. You couldn't ask for a better position for them. The 7th seed taking on the number 1 seed, the veterans. 42-year-old Casey Patterson, 42-year-old Phil Dalhauser. But no one is better at closing out sets than Big Phil. Does he have the magic here? He would love to get this victory in the first set under his belt. It would give his team a little bit of comfort here in this semifinal.
Freebie from Paul. Some really nice poise, though, shown by Partain and Lotman throughout this first set.
Yeah, I completely agree. A little bit of trouble. But look at Partain facing one way, going away from his body the other way. Very deceptive.
And a wonderful set there from Paul Lotman.
Casey Patterson on the right side, gonna really bring it right there. Challenge Miles Partain. And we're all locked up at 19 apiece. It is the game 2 here in this semifinal.
Yeah, such a smooth arm swing from Casey. One of the things we talk about in our scouting reports when we're getting ready to face him is kind of the deceptive power he's got. By nature of that technically beautiful arm swing.
Lotman, 2019.
Partain and Lotman now at set point. This would be huge for them to win this first set, put the number 1 seed back on their heels. Lotman's going to float serve and go to the net. Decides to go to Patterson. Here comes Patterson on the right, and now a cut shot. We haven't seen that in that Casey Patterson showing some of his versatility.
Yeah, he's got the heat, but he's got all the shots in the book, and he has tremendous vision, and usually his decision making is on point.
Here comes Phil Dalhauser out of the middle. Bombs it at Partain. Partain handles it well, and another finesse shot going right around Phil. Smart play by Partain.
Yeah, so impressed with how calm Miles is. You know, he's facing some heat from the end line, all laying him up there, and he's just calm as can be, chopping it around the big block of Phil Dalhauser.
Let's switch sides, gentlemen. 21-21.
How about that? Casey Patterson just lowering the hammer right there, crushing cross
New
court.
Orleans, how we like in this semifinal. Nobody's giving an inch.
Yeah, that's textbook side-out stuff right there. Good pass, waited to see the set, got a good aggressive approach, closed and hammered.
An inch has been given.
And there's Big Phil coming up with a huge block, a timely block, and Dalhauser and Patterson take the lead.
And it is set point.
Yeah, you figured Phil was going to insert himself at some point. And what a time to do it there.
So 22-21, Dalhauser and Patterson take the lead here. Got to win by 2. And here's an interesting stat. Patterson has 19 attempts already offensively to just 2 for his partner, Phil Dalhauser. And on the other side of the net, Partain has 17 as opposed to Lotman just 7. So the strategies are obvious. Phil and Casey are targeting the youngster Partain, and Partain and Lotman are going 100% towards Casey Patterson. So those two are in the driver's seat of making things happen.
Yeah, and that was a great look. We saw a couple different replays there of beach block timing. Phil on his way up as Miles was swinging at that ball. Kind of a different timing than indoor where you just want to be up and big and over the net, right? You got to be a little deceptive. You want to not show your cards too early, and Phil did a wonderful job there of sealing that line and pressing late.
And here we go. We come back out 22-21. Casey and Phil have taken the lead.
Players back on the court. Phil Dalhauser, Patterson, 22, just has taken the lead. And can they close out this set? They continue to go to Partain, who goes back, and a double contact is called on Lotman. We haven't seen that call in some time. I don't know about you, Rich. I haven't seen a double contact call this entire tournament on our air. And to end the set, what a surprise.
And I guess he's still going to be there.
Yeah, I think it was probably the right call, unfortunately, but just a terrible time for it to rear its ugly head.
Casey out front, the #1 in the semi.
At Corner Bakery, we're making your choice simple with Choose 2 options every day. Choose 2 of your favorites and turn a simple lunch into a perfectly paired meal. And we're not talking about a few Choose 2 options. Pair up any sandwich or panini, any cafe fresh salad or warm simmering soup, or any pan sauteed pasta. So many kitchen crafted options, so little time. Your perfect Choose 2 combination is waiting at the Corner Bakery.
Dear mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear that most of you only disable your phones when you fly. You call it airplane mode. But maybe you don't have to get on a plane to get away, yeah? Allow my brother to demonstrate. You know what we call this? Kona mode. One life, right? Mahalo.
Longboard Island Lager and Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
Those radio gym shorts that you have from college, they're done. Get them out of here. It's time to upgrade your short game with the one from Fabletics, man.
We love them. Your girlfriend will be stealing these. They're the best.
This fabric fixes another major issue, fit.
It's got this crazy stretch to it that looks so cute when I do my yoga or errands or like literally anything. They're the most comfortable, best feeling, luxe-tastic fabric that we have ever worn.
It's the choices we make that define us.
Pattain Trevor is coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss.
And ultimately, the enemy is within. Some people want it, some wish for it, but others make it happen.
Pattain Trevor, super lethal, bringing fire and passion to the court.
How will you take charge?
People would do that for free.
Welcome back to the Coconut Beach Volleyball Complex, AVP Pro Series New Orleans Open. Take a look at the stat. What do you see there, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, it's tight like you would expect in a match that went overtime. It kind of decided by just a couple great plays by Patterson and Dalhauser at the end. Some excellent volleyball on both sides. We saw the unfortunate double contact that ended that first set, but really good volleyball from both teams.
Yeah, sometimes you look at those stats and it's maybe, 2-1 in the blocking category or whatnot. Those 1 or 2 points are usually the difference in a 23-21 or 21-19 victory. So Phil with a couple of aces, I believe, and a couple of blocks, and that's what it takes down the stretch.
And certainly, as we see the early error from the youngster, but really steady volleyball throughout from Partain and Lotman.
Completely agree, and Lotman goes right back to what he knows best. At the end of that first set, he was called for a double contact, no argument, but a rare call if that ball doesn't come out cleanly. It comes out with a little too much spin, or if you hold the ball a little too long, you can be called for an infraction. But the skill level so high of all these athletes, you usually don't see that call.
It has to be pretty egregious, I think, for them to call it, especially at that juncture, which leads me to believe that it was, in fact, egregious. Certainly our referees on the AVP do a wonderful job, and they're not looking to overly insert themselves in a match. So you got to think that that was the right call.
Yeah, as a referee, you almost, wish you weren't put in that position to call it. But like I said, Lotman, he didn't complain. He knew that he had committed an infraction. It was just unfortunate. It was to end the first set, 23-21. But they have recovered and back to playing the consistent volleyball that you talked about, Rich. And can they sustain it and stay within striking distance?
Well, we talked early about their proclivity for playing three setters, and certainly they would like to play another one here, because that would mean they win this set and push it to a decider.
I like that proclivity. I'm going to use that in my vocabulary. I got to start getting some new words. That's a first for me.
First, we need to check if I used it properly. Then you can incorporate it into your vocab.
Here comes Partain. Little smooth shot. Patterson's all over it. Is he able to convert? No. Into the top of the net. I don't know if Lotman got that ball or not, but Patterson had a great opportunity to score. Couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, we'll give Paulie the credit for the block there. Uncharacteristic mistake in transition from Casey Patterson.
Yeah, that's one thing about Casey Patterson. Usually if he digs a hit or a shot, he's going to convert on the other end. Scoring opportunity for Lotman, and he finds the corner over Big Phil. They'll take the lead 4-3 as we take the turn.
Yeah, great job from Miles Partain, too, in the backcourt, just putting it on a platter for his partner up at the net.
Miles Partain, he is the starting setter for the UCLA Bruins, just a sophomore, was the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Player of the Year as a sophomore, so his career just getting started at 20 years of age.
Yeah, that's a great swing from Casey Patterson. That set drifted off the net a little bit. Casey, undeterred, tucks it right in the corner.
And Rich, did you have crossover with Paul Lotman on the national team?
Yeah, sure did. We were teammates for a couple years. Paul and I both played in the 2012 Olympic Games. He was one of the best outside hitters, great server, incredible reception game. Pretty sure he was a Player of the Year coming out of Long Beach State, so that is a testament to what a talented indoor player he was.
Paul Lotman rips that serve, but Phil is able to put it away. Lotman at 6'7", out of Long Beach, as you mentioned, just been playing for 5 seasons. And just a dynamic athlete, so much fun. You know, we talk about the progression not only of indoor but of beach volleyball. I love to see indoor players on the beach because I think it presses. And wow, how about that? That ball's actually in right there. Lotman covered himself. Phil's walking over, trying to figure out what happened. Explain it, Rich.
Well, from the beginning, that's an incredible job by Phil to not fully bite on the fake from Miles Partain on the jump set. Gets his hands in front of Paul and actually gets the block, but then Paul throws a hand at it to cover himself and drops it right on the sideline.
Just an incredible play. Very fortunate for Lotman, and then Partain coming back with an ace right down the middle.
The ace from Miles.
And that's what you want to see from your team, especially as a coach, right, Dane, is taking advantage of a fortunate break and stacking on top of it.
Use that momentum to get the next point. See if Casey Patterson can slow things down, and he does with a hit cross court. You know, Rich, what I was talking about is the progression not only of indoor and beach and how it keeps getting advanced. It's pretty cool when you see the merging of the two. When you see an indoor athlete like a Lotman, like a Sander come out to the beach, and just, you know, I noticed last night watching Sander play, his jump serve is just fearless. You know, you go back there and he's ripping it like he does indoor, and you usually don't see that type of velocity from a jump serve on the beach.
No, you don't. And that's, you know, we talk about the athletes getting bigger, stronger, faster, and one of the things we're starting to see, especially with the growth of the USA volleyball beach program and so forth, Coach Jose Loyola recently taking over the developmental coach for the men's side, which I think will be great for our sport in this country. Get some of these indoor athletes like Paul, who kind of finished his indoor career, Taylor, who's looking for a change, making their way onto the beach, because right now a lot of our best athletes are playing the game indoors. So if we can get some of them to come out to the stand, that's going to pay huge dividends for us.
With his second
in
block
beach.
for 9-6.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that goes for the female side of the game as well. A lot of athletes play indoor that maybe don't try beach because, you know, it's a foreign sport to them. And so I think the merging of the two, getting players to just be great volleyball players, I think would benefit both sports.
Yeah, in the past it used to be, you know, we just had to take the athletes that were done with their indoor careers, or they decided they wanted to change or whatever. But now, especially, you know, you're the head coach and the reigning national champion, two-time national champion, excuse me, at SC. I mean, we have tons and tons of opportunity for girls going to college to dedicate themselves to the beach game and learn from great coaches such as yourself and really come out at 22 years of age and be highly developed, ready to take on not only the AVP stage, but the international stage.
Yeah, it's so great to see the opportunities as the sport continues to grow. Beach volleyball on the NCAA level just started, 6 years ago, 2016, so still relatively brand new. Who knows if men's beach will ever exist on a full-time basis at the collegiate level, but more and more opportunities, the better for these players and for the sport.
Agreed. And here we sit again with Partain and Lotman, a little bit of a lead midway through the second set. I think we were in a similar position in set one, but the veterans, Patterson and Dalhauser, fought their way back. Looking to do so again. Can Miles and Paul fight them back?
Nice little roll shot, and Casey Patterson has had to pull out all of the tricks. 29 attempts, 17 kills for him, so he is a targeted man. Partain and Lotman continue to go his way. If you're just joining us, this is the men's semifinal at the AVP New Orleans Open. I'm Dane Blanton alongside Rich Lamborn calling all the action. This is the final semifinal, and the next couple of matches up will be the men's and women's final.
Well, great job by
There's a tool off the block by Miles.
1 point to the set.
Yeah, we call that a little slither line right there. You could see Phil delaying, waiting for the shot, but Miles just kind of darting it underneath him there. Well done. That's advanced stuff right there from the youngster.
Paul Lotman, jump float, continue to go to Casey Patterson. Here's Patterson, he's blocked, covered, but no, another tough block by Lotman. So Dalhauser and Patterson in a little bit of a hold here, trailing by 3.
Yeah, not typically regarded as one of the bigger blockers out here, but Paul seems to have a really good read on Casey right now from that right side.
23-21 in the second. They get the win over Chase Buttinger.
Here's a good look at the road to the title here at the 2022 AVP New Orleans Open. Dalhauser and Patterson, Partain and Lotman, what you're watching right now, 1 versus 7, and the other semifinal looks to be an amazing battle as well. The number 2 team from a couple of weeks ago, Buttinger and Field, they are the 4 seed. Will take on your squad, Rich Lamborn, and that is Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, the new team on tour here in 2022, looking to make it happen. Actually, excuse me, Crabb and Sander have advanced. Didn't even look that far in the bracket, so very interesting. I haven't seen the scores on that one, but that's a huge win for Crabb and Sander.
Yeah, they won pretty handily in the first, and it went overtime in the second. I was kind of watching along on the side on my phone there with bated breath. Nice straight sets victory for my guys.
So
now here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
As a coach, Dane, my guys got 5th place, good finish in their first tournament in Austin, but they've made it to the final here in my absence. Should I feel offended?
That one was my fault.
Maybe a little. But, you know, sometimes it's great to step away with players. You know, I found with coaching, especially beach, right? You got to make a lot of your own decisions. And sometimes once you give them the information, you want them to digest it a certain way. And sometimes when you're not around, that happens. So you should be fired up and proud that they step up to that level. Now your job is to take them to the next level after that.
Yeah, I certainly am very proud. Looking forward to the final with a little bit of anxiety, but it's nice to see the boys in fine form as we head to the World Championships
And
here in about 10 days.
1-2.
As Lotman hits the ball long and a couple of errors, and now Dalhauser and Patterson are right back in this one. And Rich, you mentioned in just a few days you will be headed over to Rome for the World Championships with Crabb and with Sander. What's the other United States team that'll be joining you over there?
Well, on the men's side, we have Brunner and Schalk. In the second alternate spot are Crabb and Bourne. So I don't know how that all shakes out. I don't know if there's going to be two teams that no-show or can't make it for some reason, and Try and Trev slide in there. To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure which teams are representing us on the women's side. Of course, we have Chang and Flint, Sponsel, Cannon. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure past that. I know Cloth and Noose, unfortunately, are just on the outside looking in. They had that great win in Turkey last week, but that didn't give them quite enough points to crack into the main draw for the World Championships.
Yeah, they're in an interesting spot. They're probably the hottest American team right now, but to get the right amount of points is very difficult. And I don't believe they're in the World Championships, but that might be an error with that. Paul Lotman is just detonating that ball straight down. How about this rally, Rich?
Yeah, I think a little bit of confusion maybe from Casey as to how many contacts they had remaining over there. In any event, Paul Lotman put it away with some force.
15-12, Partain and Lotman with the lead. They did lose the first set to Dalhauser and Patterson, 23-21, and a change of the line judge put the flag up, indicating the ball was out, and then put the ball back down, saying it's in, and I don't think we're going to get an argument. So 16-12, Partain and Lotman with the lead.
Yeah, upref had that immediately in. And if you didn't get an argument from Casey, you know very well that it was in, because not shy about standing up for himself if he feels the call is going the wrong way.
Here's Casey Patterson from the right, and a nice smooth shot over the block, making it easy. But right now, Dalhauser and Patterson are in that position again where they really need to make something happen quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Time is running short here in this second set if they're hoping to close this out in straight sets. We already know Miles and Paul are well equipped to play three setters.
Casey Patterson with the top spin ball, a little close.
There's a net violation, and it's back to a
net
two-point
violation
game
by Miles Partain. So that's a costly mistake right there. Patterson will continue to serve, and the margin getting a little slim.
Good discipline from Phil to stay out of the net, just letting Miles' momentum carry him through for the net fall.
Smart use out of bounds right there by Miles Partain. You know, a lot of volleyball taking place this weekend, Rich. Just to wrap up the whole World Championships, we had Try Bourne and Trevor Crabb over in Ostrava. They didn't make it out of pool play, and neither did Theo Brunner and Kame Schock. And on the women's side, Sarah Hughes and Kalinsky lost in pool play, as well as Sarah Sponsel and Therese Cannon. So not a great showing for the United States over in the Czech Republic this weekend.
Yeah, those elite level tournaments are just 16 teams in the main draw. Only the top two come out of pool. I believe Try and Trev got third place in their pool. Unfortunately, that's not enough. Usually in a bigger field that gets you into the playoff rounds, but not in the elite level tournaments anymore.
Back here on center court, here's Big Phil coming out of the middle. Nice pass by Partain. And a double contact once again called on Paul Lotman. So his worst nightmare coming true here, as it is now just a 1-point advantage.
He's going to have a little bit of a sideways conversation with the ref. You can see it's got a little bit of that side spin, right? When you dish the ball like that, trying to take all the spin off of it, your contact can get a little rough at times if it dips too low.
Yeah, that was a tough one, a very close call. And like you said, when you take that ball overhand, it's got to come out nice and clean. And it's a skill that so many players have, I wouldn't say perfected, but have become very proficient at. And so Lotman's still a little hot about that call, and he's going to have to bounce back after this timeout.
It went from a sideways conversation to a face-to-face aggressive conversation, didn't it?
Yeah, real quick. And it's interesting right now, making a big deal about this. Yeah, is the ref now going to maybe wait to call another one of these, or is he quicker to call another one after a conversation like this?
Well, like we talked about, I don't think the refs are looking to insert themselves unnecessarily into these matches. I mean, certainly in the semifinals. And so, they're always in a tough spot. You've got to make the right calls, but you don't want to be overly aggressive, especially with kind of those judgment calls. I think that conversation probably makes him less likely to call it, give Paul a little leeway, and that he's called 2 already on him. But if it's an egregious fault, you got to do your job up there as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The refs are only human, and it's good to have a conversation if it's constructive. And maybe, if Lotman didn't think it was a call, maybe he got some clarification on what the referee is seeing. But nonetheless, Lotman and Partain going to have to recompose themselves, come out here and play some excellent volleyball as they go up against the veterans, Casey Patterson and Phil Dalhauser.
Yeah, he's got to put that out of his mind as quickly and as efficiently as possible, because now with 2 of those under your belt at kind of critical times in this match, you got to be able to shake that off. And
it won't quite trickle over. It's 18-16.
Great timeout by Partain and Lotman. They got Phil to miss a serve, so they don't have to side out that time. And it's an 18-16 lead for Partain and Lotman, just 3 points away from forcing a third set. Phil and Casey would love to wrap this thing up in 2 and move on to the final. And there it is, Lotman with a stump block.
It's such a good read on Casey Patterson on that right side, particularly in this second set. That's his 3rd or 4th on Casey, isn't it?
Yeah, he's all over him right now. Casey getting his work, though. He's getting almost every single serve from the first whistle. And right now, Partain and Lotman are looking to push this into a third set, which would not be a surprise. 3 out of their 4 matches here in New Orleans have gone to that third set. And, Rich, we talked about that quite a bit, so wouldn't be a big surprise seeing a third set here.
No, it wouldn't. And just, coach to coach, how much of a mistake is it to have a set called against your opponent? They call a timeout, you come out, you miss a serve, you let them off the hook.
Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things that can happen, right? You want to make them handle it. Their backs are against the wall. They called the timeout, and then you give them a kind of get-out-of-jail-free card, and they don't even have to pass it. That's why I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to miss the serve, miss that serve deep. But Big Phil, he knows exactly what he's doing right there, and he knows how much to risk. So I would, never second-guess his thought process either.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting conversations because clearly nobody's out there trying to miss their serve. But, game management is such an important part of the game. And, how well you execute those game management types of plays oftentimes can be the difference in winning and losing.
All Lotman with a jump serve. He'll run to the net, and there's an ace. So Lotman makes it 20-16, just like that.
Timeout by Paul Lotman.
And what an incredible bounce back from that, quote unquote controversial hand setting call that went against them. They got the service error, but then they came back with a stuff block and now an ace from Paul Lotman.
And we are going
it is out of bounds after a very tough serve, and Partain and Lotman will take that number 2, 21-16. What a turn of events after that double contact. So there you have it. We're going 3 sets. The prize, get into the final against Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sanders.
I'm Carrie Walsh-Jennings. I've played with lots of injuries and sore muscles. KT Tape has helped me push past the pain. Today, clinical studies prove what I've always known, that using KT Tape before, during, and after workouts can reduce muscle soreness. Whether it's the Olympics or the local gym, pain is pain.
Tape up with KT Tape, the #1 kinesiology tape. Use it for muscle soreness and many common injuries. KT Tape, train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
Dear mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear that most of you only disable your phones when you fly. You call it airplane mode. But maybe you don't have to get on a plane to get away, yeah? Allow my brother to demonstrate. You know what we call this? Kona mode. One life, right? Mahalo.
Longboard Island Lager and Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
Number 1 and 2 no longer.
Welcome back to the AVP Pro Series New Orleans Open. It is Championship Sunday. Let's take a look here at the road to this position right there. You see Partain and Lotman winning their first 2, then dropping down to the consolation bracket, and then beating Allen and Casabir this morning to get to this point. And it's been quite a road for Lotman and Partain. On the other side of the net, a little easier route for Dalhauser and Patterson. They won 3 in a row to get to this point. Remember, this is a double elimination format, but once you get to the semifinal, it doesn't matter if you've been undefeated or if you lost one. It is game on, win and stay, lose and go home.
Yeah, kind of a wrinkle in the double elimination format. Once you get to the crossover, it's lose and you're out. Certainly if you're in your 40s, though, you prefer the easy road.
Yeah, once you get to that crossover or the semifinal, as we call it, then doesn't matter how you got there. It is single elimination at that point. You agree with that, Rich, or would you like to see a double final like it used to be many years back?
No, I like this format. I think it's pretty good. The double final was always exciting, but this worked.
Little joust at the net. Looks like Lotman get the best of Phil Dalhauser there, or it's a little bit of a net violation. So remember, we played a 21 in the first 2 sets, but this third set is a quick one. It's the 15 points to switch on increments of 5, so no team gets an advantage due to the wind or the sun. And Rich, is there a good side and a bad side? Is that good side where Partain and Lotman are now?
I believe so. You can kind of see, even on that set right there, the wind got a hold of that and blew it right over the net into the jaws of Paul Lotman. You can see those flags flapping in the direction of Lotman and Partain, which means they can really go after their serve from the end line.
Three to one. Partain going for it. That one just a little bit long. So if you're on the bad side, you get a couple points. It's not a bad situation for you. You just want to kind of go back and forth here. Don't let anyone have a 4-1 or a 5-0 switch. That's when you get yourself into some trouble.
And nothing really set in stone until you get to that kind of 8-7 type of mark, and then you really want to get going. But still tons and tons of game left here.
Challenging is Partain right off the head of Big Phil, and that happens when you're 6'9", you get your face over the net.
Phil taking quite a few of those in his day.
Yeah. 4-2, Partain and Lotman, third set, semifinals of the men's division. Taylor Sander and Taylor Crabb. The Taylors are waiting in the wings in the final, looking to play in their first final together. And Taylor Sander looking for his first victory, new to the beach game. Here comes Big Phil. No, it'll be over on 2 by Patterson. And this rally just continues on. Patterson with a rip, and Partain says, not so fast. As we continue here.
Incredible.
Wow, can you believe it? Definitely the rally of the tournament here on center court, and it goes to Partain and Lotman.
I mean, just unbelievable effort from all 4 guys, but good Lord, that effort rewarded for Miles Partain.
It's tough. You know, you have a long rally like this, and when you're on the losing end of it, it can be deflating in terms of your confidence, in terms of your momentum, and it can give the winning team a little extra push and confidence. You can see the body language right there. All the athletes gassed.
Now, certainly experience on the side of Dalhauser and Patterson, but that can be very, very energizing right there, that type of play for Partain and Lotman, and maybe just the thing they need to kick them over the top.
So here comes the serve by Lotman. Been targeting Casey Patterson all match long. And there's Patterson with a line shot. Looked like Partain was there but couldn't handle it. Casey Patterson, 42 years of age, back to serve, whip up the jump serve, continues to target Partain, and there's a nice scoop by Patterson, a joust with the net, and Lotman successful once again against Phil. Batting almost 1,000 when it comes down to a joust with Phil.
Yeah, tough chance for Phil there. You're always going to be a little bit at disadvantage, I think, as the blocker, but certainly if you're the blocker in motion, that is a very difficult ball to corral.
Here comes Partain, the 20-year-old, serving Casey Patterson, and Patterson has really been steady on the right side. A ton of work because they have served him exclusively. Patterson right now, 45 attempts, 22 kills. He's hitting .333. So pretty incredible run right now, and gonna have to ice down that shoulder, Rich, when he's done.
That shoulder has some miles on it, but Man, his arm swing is so perfect. It almost seems like it never tires.
Yeah, within one, 5-6.
He's served by Big Phil, and it's not the traditional style. He jumped it right out of the middle. Caused some confusion between Partain and Lotman, and what do you know? Phil and Casey within one.
Pace is great, but the placement.
Oh my goodness!
Miles, what?
Pull off that magic trick.
And just a good aggressive swing from the young Miles Partain.
Kept alive by Paul
I love
Lotman,
that he takes a cut at that ball rather than just shoveling it over as a free ball, and he gets rewarded.
Yeah, they were up against it, up against the wall. There, you get a look. 22 kills for Partain, hitting 500, 12 digs. Had a spectacular match so far, and you thought this was going to be tied up at 6 right here, but Partain just rips it to the corner. Phil not expecting that kind of heat.
Worked so hard with his feet to get in position, and then cracked one down the line. Nice job, Miles.
Here comes Lotman. Gonna rip a jump serve. Phil handles it, but it's tight. And Phil's into the net, it looks like. Yes, and it's going to be a point for Lotman and Partain. That all was dictated by that tough serve.
Yeah, Miles and Paul, as mentioned, on the good side right now, really cracking their serve.
I think that's been the difference. They've just gone a little bit more aggressive on that back line. It'll be very interesting once we get the side switch, how much pressure Phil and Casey can put.
Rushing down the line. Casey. One to the switch, 6-8.
Yeah, just a hammer down the line. And I love that too. When you give one up, don't be soft in response. Go in there hard, give them something to think about.
Six to 8 here in the men's semifinal. Casey Patterson playing with Phil Dalhauser for the first time in his career. Phil with a block, but it's covered. Casey with the dig. Can he convert? Dalhausser. Dig by Partain, and he'll have an opportunity.
Let me hear it for that rally. Oh my goodness.
Net. Wow. Just barely that one could have trickled over the net. Rich, maybe the legs getting a little weary with all these two
set number 3.
Certainly a lot of activity in this third set. Legs being weary would be fully understandable. Nice job to keep it alive there. Thought that was going to be a great dig from Miles. Just tries to pace that line again, but
that was a massive point for Phil and Casey, who seemed to be had things kind of slipping away. The pressure was on them. They weren't serving quite as tough, and now to get that might swing the momentum right back as they get the side switch here. Now the wind and the breeze in their face. They can serve a little tougher.
Nice one.
You could see that stat line pretty heavily in the favor of Partain and Lotman. But this match still as tight as can be here.
Patterson closing in on 50 attempts. He's at 48 attempts. Partain and Lotman have served him exclusively. He gets yet another one, served deep to the back line. He goes behind Phil and then ripped it cross court. Partain is standing right there, but that hit was just too good.
Yeah, I always say in beach volleyball especially, you can do everything right and still not get the point at times.
9-8. Partain and Lotman still with the lead. See if Phil can whip it up here. I think he's gonna do a traditional top spin. There it is, right down the middle, but passed well by Lotman. Patterson with a beautiful dig. Phil has to just skip it over, and Partain says, give me the opportunity and I'll make you pay. He rips it down for their 10th.
Miles ready to finish it off, 10-8.
Ten serving 8. Paul Lotman, little jump float, continues to go to Casey Patterson, and I believe that is his 50th attempt. He has 25 kills out of those 50 attempts. He's hitting 360, just 7 errors, so it's been a pretty solid day. What do you think about that percentage, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's such a good offensive player. It's maybe not what we would expect from him, but you got to give credit to Paul for getting a kind of a good read on him, especially midway through the second set.
Well, look what
not
we
a chance
have
he was
here. I
gonna
do
miss.
believe we've got a tie ball game, New Orleans.
Tied up at 10s as we take the turn. Got to give the advantage right now to Lotman and Partain as they go to the good side, and that's the side where usually teams are scoring about 3 to 2 edge on those increments of 5. So they're going to have to take advantage of this opportunity right here.
Yeah, certainly it's go time from the end line if you're Patterson and Dalhauser. Lotman, Partain in a pretty good rhythm. Certainly they've been, start to finish anyways, kind of the better team in this third set thus far, but anybody's game in the race to 5.
Rich, what are you looking for if you're Phil and Casey? If you get a 13-12 switch, are you happy with just 12, or are you looking to get the lead here on the bad side?
Well, I mean, certainly you're looking to get the lead, and that right there is absolutely what you're looking for. Any real points you can score on that quote-unquote bad side, those are bonuses. Right, a nice block from Phil started that off, and Paul and Miles will take a timeout and think about it before they give up successive points.
And we're going to take a team timeout. Timeout by Partain and
11 to 10, and when you refer to a real point, Rich, I mean, when you are serving the ball, it's so difficult to score when you are actually serving the ball. But Phil and Patterson able to do it on the first ball after the side change. And this one's going to come down to the wire. You can see how hot it is. The players pouring water on their head, trying to cool down. They got those ice towels around their neck. The humidity is strong, and it is prime time. About 85, 90 degrees here at the Coconut Beach Volleyball Complex. We're in Kenner, Louisiana, about 20 minutes outside of downtown New Orleans, and the crowd has come out to cheer on their favorite volleyball players. AVP finally back in New Orleans after a 6-year hiatus. The last time was in 2016, and so they are fired up, and we are down to just 2 more matches after this, and that is the men's and women's final. It's been a pretty amazing week, Rich Lamborn, and a lot of fun for these players who are really psyched about this 2022 schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just a great venue. First of all, Coconut Beach, great volleyball culture and community here, not only in New Orleans, but the state of Louisiana. They'll be elated to see in the women's final their LSU girls looking for successive titles, and we'll be looking to see who's going to face the Taylors in this match. There's another freebie.
12-10.
Wow, Miles Partain clips the top of the net, and that one trickles out of bounds for a 12-10 lead. Remember, we mentioned Dalhauser and Patterson are on the bad side. There's a slight breeze at their back. Harder to score. Wow, and there it is, another point, 3 in a row since the switch, and who would have predicted this? This is the perfect scenario right now for Phil and Casey.
Yeah, you asked what they were looking for, and they would absolutely take 3 real points, break points, whatever you want to call them, points on their serve all day long on the bad side.
Oh my goodness, up and over with a timely block. So if you were a betting man, you wouldn't say that Phil and Casey would go to the bad side, score 4 consecutive points, and now they are looking at match ball.
For Dalhauser and Patterson.
Just textbook handwork right there from the big fella in the angle.
Short serve. It's match point, and Partain able to get the kill, so 14-11. As Phil and Casey switch over to the good side, Partain and Lotman in a little bit of trouble here now with that last side change.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. I mean, it's not over yet, but Miles and Paul have played such a great match. They ran into a little bit of a hiccup there for the last couple of points at the worst possible time, unfortunately for them. And now a handful of match points for the veteran team, Casey Patterson, Phil Dalhauser.
So Phil and Casey,
freeze in one side
match point number 2 here. The winner of this will advance to play the Taylors. Taylor Sander, Taylor Crabb. Here comes Casey Patterson, and he blasted down the line. Challenges Miles Partain, and that will do it. 15-11 for the 242-year-olds. Patterson and Dalhauser with some huge plays in the clutch.
Yeah, just a great volleyball match from Miles and Paul as well. We'll look to see wonderful stuff from them throughout the rest of this AVP season. As I said, just an unfortunate, untimely anyways, hiccup from them just at the wrong moment. But we will see Casey and Phil in the finals versus the Taylors.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you got to give it up for Paul Lotman and Miles Partain, really starting the 2022 season with a bang. That equals their best finish ever, which they pulled off last year in 2021 in Chicago. So really great to see this team step up, do their thing, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot of them as this season progresses.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Phil showing he can get it done with any and everyone. Takes another partner, in this instance, Casey Patterson, into the final chance for the title here in New Orleans.
There you see the brackets on how we got there. The number 1 seed, Phil Dalhauser and Casey Patterson in the final to face Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, the team that everybody's been talking about in the preseason. Can they pull it off? The upset, we will see that match coming up next.